President Cheney took us on a rare personal tour of his ceremonial office. Even for this famously secretive vice president, Cheney has kept a remarkably low profile of late. This was his first interview in 6 months.
How important have your administration's policies on surveillance, interrogation, and detention been in protecting the homeland?
Well, I think they've been crucial, Jonathan. I think that anybody who looked at the situation the morning after the 9/11 attack would never have bet that we'd been able to go this long without another attack. We've been able to defeat or disrupt all further attempts to strike the homeland. It's enormously important. I think those programs are crucial.
But you've heard leaders in the incoming Congress saying that this policy has basically been torture and illegal wiretapping, and that they want to undo basically the central tenets of your anti-terrorism policy.
They're wrong. On the question of so-called torture, we don't do torture. We never have. It's not something that this administration subscribes to. Again, we proceeded very cautiously. We checked. We had the Justice Department issue the requisite opinions in order to know where the bright lines were that you could not cross. Did it produce the desired results? I think it did. I think, for example, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, who was the number 3 man in Al-Qaeda, the man who planned the attacks of 9/11, provided us with a wealth of information. There was a period of time there 3 or 4 years ago when about half of everything we knew about Al-Qaeda came from that one source. So it's been a remarkably successful effort. I think the results speak for themselves. And I think those who allege that we've been involved in torture or that somehow we violated the Constitution or laws with the terrorist surveillance program simply don't know what they're talking about.
Did you authorize the tactics that were used against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed?
I was aware of the program, certainly, and involved in helping get the process cleared. That is, the agency, in effect, came in and wanted to know what they could and couldn't do. And they talked to me as well as others to explain what they wanted to do, and I supported it.
In hindsight, do you think any of those tactics that were used against Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and others went too far?
I don't.
And on KSM, one of those tactics, of course, widely reported was waterboarding, and that seems to be a tactic we no longer use. Even that, you think, was appropriate?
I do.
More than 2 years ago, President Bush said that he wanted to close down Guantanamo Bay. Why has that not happened?
If you're going to close Guantanamo, what are you going to do with those prisoners? One suggestion is, well, we bring them to the United States. Well, I don't know very many congressmen, for example, who were eager to have 200 al-Qaeda terrorists deposited in their district. These are not American citizens. They are not subject nor do they have the same rights that an American citizen does vis-a-vis the government, but they are well treated. They also have the opportunity, and the process has started now, to be heard before a military commission with judgment, fair and honest judgment made about their guilt or innocence, to be represented by counsel provided through that process. So I don't know any in the nation of the world that would do what we've done in terms of taking care of people who are avowed enemies, and many of whom still swear up and down that their only objective is to kill more Americans.
So when do you think we'll be at a point where Guantanamo could be responsibly shut down?
Well, I think that would come with the end of the war on terror.
When's that going to be?
Well, nobody knows. Nobody can specify that.
On Sunday, John McCain said that the national security team that has been established by President-elect Obama, Clinton, James Jones, Robert Gates, that this is a team that he could have assembled. Mm-hmm. How do you assess this incoming team?
Well, I must say I think it's a pretty good team. I'm not close to Barack Obama, obviously, nor am I do I identify with him politically. He's a liberal, I'm a conservative. But I think the idea of keeping Gates at defense is excellent. I think Jim Jones will be very, very effective as the National Security Advisor. And while I would not have hired Senator Clinton, I think she's tough, she's smart, she works very hard, and she may turn out to be just what President Obama needs.
What do you say to those that say you've changed? I mean, you've seen Brent Scowcroft says, I don't know Dick Cheney anymore. I mean, really, he's known you as long as just about anybody in this town. What do you say to that?
Well, the way I think of it is, in terms of whether or not I changed, I think a prime motivation for me in much of what I've done was 9/11. Have I changed? Well, not in the sense that I've gone through some, fundamental psychological transition here, but I have been, since that day, focused very much upon what we needed to do to defend the nation. And I think the policies we've recommended, the programs that we've undertaken, have been good programs. I think those have been sound decisions. And if that's what they mean by saying I changed, I'm guilty.
All right, Mr. Vice President, thank you for your time.
Thank you, Jonathan.
Appreciate it.